Do you hate confrontation? So does Aaliyah. Aaliyah hated confrontation so much she didn't speak up to her college roommate, and eventually her roommate's harassment escalated to assault, and she ended up getting poisoned and having her shampoo contaminated so that her scalp was blistering, and she had to go file a police report, and the whole thing got out of control again because she didn't have the skills of assertiveness and she feared confrontation. Even after Aaliyah reported her roommate to authorities, she still felt afraid to confront her roommate head on and address the situation. Her lack of assertiveness is very common for people, especially trauma survivors. They fear confrontation, and that fear of confrontation causes things to escalate. We don't want to confront our roommate because we live with them and we don't want things to become awkward, difficult, or unsafe as a result of our confrontation. But ironically, by trying to keep yourself safe by avoiding confrontation, you actually make your life more unsafe because confrontation is the means by which we secure our safety. Here's how you use the skills of assertiveness to prevent things like this from escalating. Step 1, notice your feelings. As soon as you start to feel those potential inklings of resentment, anxiety around your relationship partners or roommates or friends, as soon as you start to feel a little bit of anger or injustice about a situation, those feelings are your indication that it's time to advocate for yourself. In order to understand this better, you can split out your inner child and look at it as an actual child. Whenever there's something happening to you that you wouldn't like to see happening to your child, and you would then speak up on behalf of your child, that likewise is the time to speak up on behalf of yourself. So now let's bring that inner child back into yourself. When do we advocate for ourselves? The feelings give us discomfort. When we have the discomfort and it would be something that we would advocate on behalf of our child for, then it's time for us to speak up on our own behalf. That's step 1. Pay attention to the feelings. Step number 2 is to be assertive, which means that you're going to do the thing you fear doing, which is going up and telling this person the truth. The truth is synonymous with assertiveness. If you look up to be assertive in the dictionary, it means to tell people the truth. So we have to have this skill and ability in life. It is an important life skill to be able to be honest with people. And so this doesn't mean that we need to be passive, too soft. It doesn't mean that we need to go around their backs and talk to everyone else about the situation. And it doesn't mean that we need to be aggressive. All of those are extreme. We need to be right here in the middle. Balanced, simple, honesty, assertiveness. But how do we do that? A lot of people say, I don't know how to be assertive. And they'll tell me, Roman, how do I tell my brother that I need him to pick up his share of taking care of mom and dad? And I say, you just did it. You're asking me how to say something, you just said it. Say the same thing without the how to at the beginning. Brother, I need you to pick up your share of taking care of mom and dad. So let's use this example. Let's say you have a roommate and your roommate's not picking up their fair share of doing the dishes. Maybe you had something established ahead of time where they're supposed to do the dishes every Wednesday. You come home on Wednesday. These dishes are not done. It's their turn to do the dishes. As a result, you have nothing with which you can eat your meal. You can't feed yourself because these dishes aren't done. Passive is not saying anything to keep the peace. Doing it yourself and being bitter. Then we get into passive aggressive, which is where you're while you're washing the dishes on their turn and then making comments like, oh, I have so much to do. I'm so busy. I wish people would do stuff better. And you're not actually addressing the issue. You're everything around the issue instead of just confronting the person and telling them the truth. That's passive aggressive, right? Also, you're too passive when you try to assert yourself, but you assert yourself too passively. You go to them and you're worried about the dishes, but you say, are you hungry? Hey, I was thinking about cooking. Do you want me to make you something? And what you're really trying to do is get them to recognize they didn't do the dishes, but they don't seem to be recognizing it because you're being too passive. You're not telling the truth. To be assertive is to tell the truth. It's not being aggressive. To be aggressive is to start yelling, hey, how come these dishes aren't done around here? That's too aggressive. It's like too much. You're a 10. You need to bring that down to a 5. So how do we be assertive to tell the truth? Just like I said, how do I tell my roommate that they need to do their share of the dishes on their day to do the dishes? Oh, you just did it. Just tell them that without putting it in a question. Okay, so you go to your roommate, walk up to them. This is base level assertiveness. 0 emotion. You need to do the dishes. Wednesday is your day to do the dishes. At the moment, there's not enough dishes available for me to cook for myself. So I need you to do the dishes. That's it. That's base level assertiveness. You just did it. If you can do that, practice right now. No emotion. You walk up to the person, you tell them the truth. Now, the skills of assertiveness are what we do around that core truth to soften the blow. Skills of assertiveness are there to help us to learn to soften the blow. So I have a whole course on the skills of assertiveness available in Healing School. The link is on my page. I'll give you a little bit, but you want to think about landing a plane, right? The skills of landing a plane, because the pilot could just drop the engines and take his hand off the wheel and be like, we're going down, we're going to touch down, but that's a crash down. In order to touch down, you want to bring the plane in ever so softly, right? And that's how we try to land the truth with people so that it comes to them in a way that they're going to be able to accept it and they're less likely to just become defensive. So an example of how that could sound is to say to the person, can I talk to you for a minute? Sure, what's the problem? Sit down. You have your notebook. You write down on your notebook exactly what you want to tell them. You start off with positivity. Hey, you're an amazing roommate. I like being around you. You're fun, you're spontaneous, you're creative and inspirational. I'm looking forward to having an epic winter staying here with you. Okay, thanks a lot. What's the deal? Yeah, so I wanted to talk to you because there is one thing that I'm concerned about. I'm wondering if perhaps I've done something wrong in my communication to not make it clear to you how important it is for me that on Wednesdays you're taking up the dishes. I'm wondering if maybe I didn't organize that correctly, or maybe I haven't told you exactly what it is that I'm expecting you to do in terms of your share. And then the person goes, oh, yeah, no, my bad, I forgot. And then they go and they do the dishes. It's typically how it's going to go. If you're dealing with anyone who's healthy, who's mature, when you come to them with the skills of assertiveness, like I just demonstrated, they're going to take the point and they're going to apply it. It could create some tension. It could create some awkwardness. Oftentimes it does. But that's temporary. It's actually temporary. The awkwardness goes away and you're able to resume daily activities. Because when we tell people the truth, we're telling them how to behave in a way around us that makes us not hate them. And that's important information. They need that. It's actually loving to make it a little awkward. So you got to learn to be the lion so that you can be the lamb you truly are. And that's the skills of assertiveness. Now, what I did in there, I used all types of skills that I outline inside this course, so make sure you go and check it out. It's inside Healing School. If you're already enrolled, it's free to you. If you're not enrolled, get enrolled in Healing School, and then take that course. It's called The Skills of Assertiveness. It can save your life. It can save your relationships. It will definitely make life so much more enjoyable because you won't be getting bullied day after day.